Have you ever had a really great boss, or maybe a truly terrible one? Well, the difference usually comes down to just one thing: management. It's a skill that can literally make or break a team, a project, or even an entire company. But what does it really mean to be a manager? We're about to dive into the core ideas, the essential tools, and yeah, even the future of this super critical role. Let's get into it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get right to the heart of what management actually is. Then, we're going to open up the manager's toolkit and look at the 5 key jobs they have to do. After that, we'll see why all this matters so much. And finally, we'll peek into the future and look at the new challenges managers are facing in today's world.
All right, let's kick things off with the most basic question of all. We throw the word management around all the time, but what is it really? What's the actual job behind that title?
So let's just ask it straight up. What do managers actually do? Because, it's not just about being the boss. There's a very specific purpose, a set of activities that define what this job is all about. And it might be a little different than what you think. I absolutely love this classic definition from a pioneer in management, Mary Parker Follett. She said it's the art of getting things done through the efforts of others. It sounds simple, but it's such a powerful idea. See, it shifts the focus away from what the manager does personally to how well they can empower and enable their team. At the end of the day, a manager's success is really just the success of the people they lead. And this leads to a classic debate. Is management an art, or is it a science? You've got the art camp who say, look, it's all about skill, creativity, and intuition. Stuff you can only learn through practice and experience. But then you have the science camp who argue that it's a systematic body of knowledge with universal principles of cause and effect that you can study and apply. So, which is it? Well, the modern view is pretty clear. It's not one or the other. The best management is actually a powerful blend of both. It's a creative art for sure, but it's an art that is guided and backed up by the science of data, psychology, and proven principles. Okay, so if management is this cool blend of art and science, what does that actually look like day to day? Well, let's open up the manager's toolkit and take a look at the 5 core functions that every single one of them needs to master. And here they are. These 5 functions, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling, they aren't just a simple checklist you work through. You gotta see them as a continuous, interconnected cycle. What you do in one area has a direct ripple effect on all the others. First up is planning. This is ground zero. It's all about looking ahead and figuring out, okay, where are we trying to go and what's the best way to get there? You can think of it like drawing a map. You set the destination, chart the course, and try to anticipate any bumps in the road. Next, you've got organizing, because a brilliant plan is pretty much useless without a solid structure to support it. This is where you build the framework for success. You figure out who does what, you create clear lines of authority, and you make sure everyone knows their part. It's what turns a chaotic group into a well-oiled team. Then comes the absolutely critical part: staffing. This is all about finding the right people for the right seats on the bus. You can have the best plan and the perfect structure, but without the right folks in the right roles, the whole thing just falls apart. This is all about hiring, developing, and, just as importantly, keeping the talented people you need to win. Now, with that awesome team in place, the manager's job shifts to directing. This is really the human side of things, the heartbeat of management. It's about leading, communicating, and motivating everyone to pull in the same direction. It's about creating an environment where people can actually do their best work. It's leadership in action. And finally, we have controlling. Think of this as the steering wheel. It's about constantly checking your progress against that original plan. Are we still on track? If we're drifting, why? This whole function is about measuring results, learning from what's happening, and making those smart adjustments to get back on course. So, we've defined what management is, and we've peeked inside the toolkit, but why is all this so important? Let's talk about the real-world impact that doing this stuff well has on companies and, on the actual people who work there. Honestly, the impact is massive. Good management is literally the engine of success. It means you're not wasting people, money, or materials. It means everyone, from the individual to the whole organization, is actually achieving their goals. It helps people adapt to change and just makes the whole place run smoother. But maybe most importantly, it creates a positive culture where people want to work, and that is the ultimate advantage. And it's so important to remember that these ideas aren't just for some giant corporation. Management is everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're running a hospital, a school, a nonprofit, or a tech startup. These same core functions are the keys to getting things done. The context might change, but the fundamentals of good management, they really don't. Okay, for our final section, let's talk about today. Because while those principles are timeless, the world where managers have to use them is more complex and fast-paced than ever. It's like they're navigating this crazy maze of modern challenges. I mean, just think for a second about the sheer pace of technological change. A perfect example is how we listen to music. In just a few decades, we went from tape recorders to audio cassettes to CDs to having basically all the music ever recorded right on our phones. That kind of acceleration is a constant wave that managers have to ride. And then there's the growing diversity of our teams. I mean, today's workforce is this incredible mix of different generations, cultures, backgrounds, and skills. Now, that's a huge advantage. It brings so many new perspectives and ideas to the table. But it also means managers need a whole new level of skill to build teams where every single person feels included and can do their best work. And let's not forget about globalization. Businesses and teams aren't stuck in one building or even one country anymore. And while that creates amazing opportunities, it also adds all these new layers of complexity. Now managers have to navigate different cultures, time zones, and rules all at the same time. When you put it all together, it really boils down to one central fact of modern work: constant change. The ability to manage change isn't just some nice-to-have skill anymore. It's a core competency. Today's managers have to be change agents, guiding their teams through the nonstop shifts in tech, in the market, and in how we work. So this all leaves us with one final, really important question to chew on. In a world that is always changing, where technology is accelerating, and our teams are more global and diverse than ever, what is the future of management? What will it look like to get things done through others tomorrow?